One of the next things I want to do is nice clean cut on these, very, very good, but still a little bit of surface roughness on here from when I cut it on my table saw. So I'm just going to take my RO90 with some 80 grit paper and clean these up really quick. And again, one of the things I love about these Festools is I can use the hose and the plug-it connection, and it's easy to change from tool to tool without going through a whole lot of issues. So I'm just going to go ahead and sand each of these. I just love this little sander. It's light, it's fairly well balanced if you hold it like this, and it really does a nice job for small, for small surfaces like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other three pieces. Alright, so all the grooves are done, and we've sanded everything here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the dominoes. So dominoes are these. They come in a variety of sizes. What I'm using here are the 6x40 millimeter. These are about 3/4 of an inch wide. What I like to do is I like to set them so I've got 1.9 inch into my groove, as I said before, and this is a 2-inch wide rail. So what I want to do is I want to set these in so they're about 1/4 inch in. So 1/4 inch and 3/8 is half of the width of this. So I'm going to come in about 5/8 of an inch, and then I give myself a little extra. So we're going to come in 3/4 on each one of these, and that'll put the broad side of that at 1 1/8 inch, which will still be a fairly good margin to the groove. So the domino is by far and away, I think, my favorite Festool. It really is. It's a very precision instrument. It allows you to do assemblies like this really in a very, very short period of time. So I've already gone ahead and put in the 6 millimeter domino cutter. Go ahead and fold that down so that's at the 90-degree mark. The depth of cut on here shows 20 millimeter. Now these aren't exactly, so that'll center a cut at 20 millimeters. So these aren't exactly 20 millimeters thick, but they're close enough. As long as I always register off the top surface is common to all of these, it won't really matter. They will always come up, so they're nice and flush at the top. The other thing is the domino has 3 width settings. So this one here will be the width of the domino. This is a little wider and wider still. For all of these cuts, I'm going to use the narrowest setting. The only other thing that I check is my depth of cut. So I validated that. I have a 40 millimeter long domino, so each side will be 20 millimeters deep. So that's set on 20 millimeters. This is ready to go. Alright, so I got my hearing protection in, and I'm going to go ahead and put my safety glasses on. So what I like to do is I'll put my 2 calls here like I discussed. So I'll bring this here, and what I do is you line the domino up, and there are registration marks here. And I usually center off this one here. That's centered to the center where the bit's travel is. So I lay it on, sort of slide it up, just do a rock it back and forth once or twice to make sure it's on. Make sure the lines are lined up, and then I plunge in one nice even motion, and I usually hold the domino back here so that I'm not doing anything to change where it's sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the next step here is to go ahead and finish the assembly. So I just use a regular old wood glue. So I'll go ahead and lay a little glue on here, and then I drop just a little bit down in that tenon. Same thing here, just a little bit down in that tenon, not a whole bunch. And then we got the 2 mating pieces that are going to go on here, and so I also do the end grain. Alright, and then again, what I'm doing here is I'm being very, very careful not to get it to where it's going to be you know, interfere with that plywood panel when I set the plywood panel in. And then just make sure it's spread around nicely inside. And then we'll take dominoes. I just use a rubber mallet just to tap them in, but I'll go ahead and take this piece, put it on. Just to show you, you really don't need to do the full on with that. We'll go ahead and throw our panel in. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just clamp this unit up. And I just double check that we're nice and flush on the bottom of the clamps, which we are. So one last check to make sure this is square. Although when you use the Festool system, this is really just a perfunctory check, because the ends of the boards are square and the dominoes make everything align. And so this is and this is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead, just put it down on the floor. These clamps will stand up, which is part of the reason I like these. So I go ahead and put this down on the floor and let this assembly set up. So what I've shown here was a method to build a flat panel door using the Festool tool system. As you can see, you can apply this same methodology to a wide variety of projects. Here are some that I've completed or not quite completed here in the recent past.